ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome our choir leaders to the floor, we invite you to stand as the choir leaders lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
Hey, bud, how are you?
Good.
Welcome, folks, to what is truly a hallmark event in our district's history. My name is Kevin Miller, and it's my honor and privilege to serve as superintendent of Ottawa Hills Schools. We're here today to formally name this court in honor of an outstanding educator and coach, John Lindsay. When you think about the fact that John Lindsay Court will join the ranks of Norm Niedermeyer Stadium and Chris Hardman Field, you realize that we have been incredibly blessed to have teachers and coaches in this school system who have made it their life's work to impact the lives of young people in positive ways. Now, I know John Lindsay would rather go through a root canal rather than go through this ceremony in his honor. But I also know that if he had the microphone instead of me, he will tell you that even though this court will bear his name, he shares the honor with legions of coaches who have spent countless hours and days leading and teaching student athletes on this floor, and physical education teachers like Jenny Gill, Chris Hardman, and Sandy Osterman, who made this floor their classroom. When you think about it, this floor is central to who we are as a community. For us, it is a crucial gathering place. We gather around it to cheer on our teams, celebrating all that is good and right with our school district and our village. We've gathered around this floor to celebrate our status as Ohio's #1 school district. We gather around this floor to hear speakers, to hold pep sessions, to have banquets. We even test our students on this floor. And we gather around this floor once a year to honor another class of Green Bears as they pass from students to graduates. When the question is, what's in a name? The answer should be everything. When you give something a name, it becomes more personal, more real. The name becomes a reflection of something special and unique. So it is fitting that from today on, this floor, this epicenter of our community, will bear the name of a man who exemplifies integrity, passion, and selfless commitment to Ottawa Hills Schools and our students. I can't think of any other name that I would want to have on such an important piece of property. donation card, and there's a reason why that's there. Today's ceremony is happening because about 8 years ago, a group of villagers had the foresight and the courage to establish the Ottawa Hills Schools Foundation. And since its official formation in May of 2013, the foundation has become a force in enhancing and extending the Ottawa Hills experience for our students. Because of the foundation, our choraleers have had the opportunity to perform at Carnegie Hall and venues across Chicago. Our elementary music program has broadened its curriculum by teaching the ukulele to all of our students. We have been able to offer robotics summer camp and a science Olympiad competition camp. We've provided training for our football teams and our dance team. We've supported a growing instrumental music program. We've allowed kids to fly in productions like The Wizard of Oz and Peter Pan. And we have started a new honors research course where Ottawa Hills students are doing real-life research projects in coordination with university scientists. And because of the foundation, the path was created for Pete and Amy Cadence to make the largest donation ever to Ottawa Hills schools. Because of the foundation and Pete and Amy's generosity, we are in the midst of our first capital campaign, which will impact our health and wellness programming by building a new fitness center right at the very end of the gymnasium here, renovating our multi-purpose room, and renovating our varsity locker rooms. We will do that by taking the Cadence family donation and growing it to $1.5 million to support these three endeavors, and thus a donation card. A lot of planning has gone into this day, and I'd like to thank our Director of Development and Alumni Relations, Erica Silk. Erica, would you please stand? Worked with a fantastic team to make sure that every detail has been put into place to make this a memorable day. But today is not a culmination of anything. Instead, it's a pause to celebrate the contributions of a great man in John Lindsay, and we seek to gain the contributions of even more. And that's a great segue in my opportunity to introduce an Ottawa Hills Green Bear who is contributing to our school district and the world around him in incredible ways. Here to lead this afternoon's program is Pete Cadence.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you all for being here. What a great crowd. I just think about a coach when I look at this crowd. Think about how many lives he's touched. And, Coach, I'm so proud for you that so many people showed up today. I'm a little emotional about it because outside of my family, my immediate family, this man was the most pivotal person in my human development. I just got to say, I'm going to keep it pretty short, but two quick stories, and I got to roast them a little bit. Although, unfortunately, the stories that I can tell in 1996 are not going to be allowed in 2018. So, I can't go too much into it. But two things about Coach Lindsay that I just want to say that stick out in my mind and really changed my life. When I talk tonight at halftime of the game, I want to remind the students about the moments in your life that change your life forever and you'll never forget. And there were two moments in particular in my life where Coach changed me. One was, sorry, I'm a little choked up. One was my junior year, and Coach wasn't even the head coach. He was the junior varsity coach. And the hockey team and the basketball team had a little rivalry. And, we talked, smack to them, they talked smack to us. Well, they, one day during the middle of the season, circulated a letter around the school saying all sorts of terrible things about me. I was the captain of the team and kind of a rabble-rouser. And I felt pretty down in the dumps about it. a little kid, I was probably a little insecure. I went home, told my folks I was a little bit upset. And about an hour later, after we had practice, and I had a terrible practice, who shows up unannounced at our door? Coach John Lindsay. He wasn't even my coach. He wasn't even the head coach. He was a junior varsity coach. And he showed up and he sat down with my parents. I was upstairs kind of wobbling. He told my parents what happened. And he said he would do anything he could to support me. He loved me. He wanted to give me strength and courage. And he just wanted to tell my parents what happened. And he and the team and everyone else was behind him. He had no reason to do that, but he did it anyway. And then summer before senior year, when he took over as my varsity coach, I was the captain of the coach's first team. He took me outside right after the curve after a summer league game. It was a moment that changed my life. He said, "Pete," he said, "you got to learn to be more humble." He said, "You got to learn to start sandbagging." He said, "Every year you've gone through and you tell kids how great your team's going to be, and how good you're going to be, and you're going to go 20-0. He said, "You got to stop that." He said, "This season, what I want you to do is I want you to say, we're going to be okay. I don't know how we're going to be. We're going to do fine." And that just one little thing, that one little moment, just like reminding me that people like you more when you're humble. It changed my outlook of life. It really did. And by the way, it also changed our season. The same team, my junior year, that was 5-17, went 18-6 next season. The same exact team. And the only external factor was Coach John Lindsay and a little bit of humility. And so that's why I'm here today, and that's why I decided, when Amy and I, my wife and I, decided to give back to Iowa Bills, one thing I said was my gift is contingent upon naming this award after Coach John Lindsay, because that's how important he was in my development. And Coach, I couldn't have done it. Move on with the program. One little roast to the coach here. Then we'll move on with the program to other speakers, and I'll wrap up my words. If you know Coach, you know that nothing irritates him more than embellishment and hyperbole about himself. So I'll do a little bit of that real quick. For those of you who don't know, Coach has been coach here for 24 seasons. He's got a winning percentage of 68%, which is incredible. Doing a little research and trying to think about who I can benchmark that coaching experience and winning percentage to. I came across is there is another coach who also has been a head coach for 24 seasons and has a 68% winning percentage. That coach is Bill Belichick. So, Coach, you were the Bill Belichick of high school basketball. Thank you all for the opportunity to do this on behalf of Coach John Lindsay and his family today. His wonderful wife, Mary, his children, John, Kyle, and Shannon, Kelsey, and their spouses, and everyone here from the community. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We're going to hear from a number of alums and family members here today, and why don't we dive right into that program. So we're going to start first with a gentleman who is my co-captain, who is the captain of the other team today. Graduated in 2002, was a tremendous athlete here at Ottawa Hills in both basketball and golf teams. And was always a leader, as a leader in the community, as an attorney at Shoemaker, Luke Kendrick. Welcome, class of 2002 Boston.
So when I was asked to say a few words, it was pretty easy. not have to write anything down. Don't forget to but the big thing is because I think about John Lindsay and a few other teachers here every day and how I react to what he brought to us and what you meant to me. And I'll say two stories or two main impacts that you gave me, but the main one is I was probably a emotional high school student, like you know well. If I was talking to a therapist, maybe angry or something. But emotional is a fair way to put it. And people like Chris Hardman, people like Darren Broadway, Steve Whitley, and then most importantly John Lindsay. Every time I would be over here on the emotional spectrum, he would meet me with that same end of the spectrum, the calmness, coolness, qualities that today I look at and say, that's how I want to treat others, that's how I want to coach, that's how I want to be a dad, that's how I want to be remembered. And so many times as I slowly became more emotional on my time, I think about how you reacted to so many things that you could have been one way, and consistently you reacted with maturity, calmness, and with kindness, and it was meaningful. So I can't tell you how much that means to me, and I think about it every single day. It's hard to do. So I'll give you two stories, one related to that, and the other related to just you being here, which is my apologies. So the first was, there were many times that, I won't say here that, I was out of line for, he called me to check, and he reacted just how he should have, with calmness, with quiet, with kindness. But this one in particular, I remember, something happened where he blew the whistle just like he did every single time. Stop the game, or stop the practice. And he said, hey, I want you to, you should have gone here with the basketball. And I slammed the ball down. I said, gosh darn it, didn't use those words. I'm trying to do this. And he looked at me, and the music stopped, by the way, because it was totally ridiculous how I was acting. It was like total music stopped. Everybody looked to see how John Lindsay would react to that. He could react in any number of ways, all the way to the bad, all the way to the good, just like he did every single time. He reacted just how he did with consistency. He said, hey, I just want you to go here with basketball. And you know what? It confused everything next to everybody looked around and said, makes sense. Practice proceeded. I won't forget that moment. There were a number of other moments just like it that I dealt with, and you reacted the same way. That was one where everybody else could see it too, and it was very meaningful. And for that, I thank you. I try and react that way all the time, and you've done it, so I appreciate it. One of them is, I feel like there's a legend that some people haven't seen, and I think that John Lindsay, at least as we think it is, an incredible dancer. You may not know this, but we wanted John Lindsay, Coach Lindsay, to dance so often. We tried and tried, and we knew he liked Earth, Wind, and Fire. So all the music we played, all the times we tried to get him to dance, there was nothing there. Nothing. That same consistency, cool quality was presented with the zero dancing quality from him. So we were, he was at the board, downstairs in the basement there, and we said, all right, we're going to put on Earth, Wind, and Fire and see if he can dance. Consistency shut it down. No dancing whatsoever. So he's at the board here, writing, we're playing Earth, Wind, and Fire was September, the song. Do you remember? You know that song? So he's here, and he's giving nothing. He's like, I'm not dancing, guys. This is not happening. Obviously, it's not happening. So he's here, and then all of a sudden, it comes out. It's like, writing, and here he goes. Sit down like you were not coordinated. It was probably the 20 seconds of the greatest moments of our lives. And the whole team will never forget it. I promise you that. And it was something to remember. Legend is the greatest answer. I want to say thank you. I think about you, how I react to anything that comes up in my life emotionally, and just being cool, calm, and collected every day. And so I appreciate that. So everybody else, thank you.
All right. Next player, Brent Avenroth. There we go. All right. Brent Avenroth comes from a great lineage of great Ottawa Hills basketball players. Those of you who don't remember his father Paul, who was an excellent player, certainly up there somewhere when they found the championships. And Brent was a great player himself. Went on to be one of several players that Coach Lindsay has coached who played Division I basketball at Bryant. And class of 2008, I'd like to welcome Brent Avenroth.
Good afternoon. My name is Brent Avenroth, class of 2008. I just wanted to say what an honor and privilege it is to be here this afternoon, dedicated the court to a man who was extremely formidable in my 4 years ago in high school. Coach Lindsay, you brought a level of professionalism, a level of dedication, and work ethic that not only made us all better basketball players, but it made us definitely a better member of this community. Now you can look at all the accolades, the wins, the trips down the state, but in my opinion, the biggest gift Coach Lindsay gave each and every one of us is the ability to very proudly tell people within this community, not only in Toledo, but throughout the state of Ohio, that we played 4 years of basketball at Ottawa Hills High School. I think that's pretty cool. Coach, it was an absolute honor. Coach, it was an absolute honor and privilege to play under you for 4 years. Really appreciate it. You earned everything that you got here today. I just want to say thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Brent. All right, the next is another individual who's dressed up in his full gear, who Coach also coached to Division I basketball prowess. Wasn't thrilled with his choice of college. I went to Bucknell. He decided to make the decision to play Holy Cross, but that's another topic. But Phil Weems was an excellent basketball player, just an excellent guy. Played 4 years of Division I basketball in the Patriot League at Holy Cross, and now is still taking a lesson from Coach Lindsay. He has his own program in Chicago where he lives now called Phil's Drills, where he teaches kids about the fundamental drills of basketball after he goes to work every day. So still continuing the coaching lessons that he's gleaned from Coach Lindsay. So welcome, Phil Weems.
This is actually pretty crazy. This is cool. The whole thing's filled for Coach. So congratulations, awesome. A lot of cool faces from around the community, teachers, families, just a really cool atmosphere for Coach. I wanted to talk about 3 of my favorite memories of Coach. One, he was the man in class. Always, he enjoyed learning with us, and we would always get a first row seat, first 5, last 5 in class, talking hoops. It's a good time. Number 2, the March Madness song. After when it would be tournament time, Coach Lindsay would play the March Madness song. Everyone knows that one, you know. And great fun. Third, which I have a little prop for, is the tie. Coach Lindsay always had the freshest knots. And those really taught me 3 things. One, the strength of a leader, who's going to lead from the top down. And if he looks the part, he's ready to go. Preparation, just being ready to go. And then the attention to detail, that would be that same knot. Those are the things I take into the real world every day and live my life by. So thank you, Coach, and I appreciate everything you've done.
All right. We'll say, Coach, you've coached some pretty impressive people. As I go down this list, it's one person is more impressive than the next, so it's amazing. The next speaker is a young man who graduated in 2014, Ben Silverman, who was, for those of you who don't remember, the state champion golfer. He's immortalized somewhere up here. 2013, he and his team won the state championship. He went on then to play golf at Duke University, which is a fantastic golf school. In addition to being a great golfer, is a great basketball player, great kid, great community leader, and now works here at Highland in Toledo. So thanks for coming back to Toledo. That's all.
My name is Ben Silverman. I graduated in 2014. And it looks like we're going to follow a little bit of a theme here, Coach. Sorry. Looks like we might be following a little bit of a theme with the experts here today. So watch out. But it feels just like yesterday we were going at it one-on-one out here in one of Coach Lindsay's green versus white drills of practice. Now, for those of you who do know me, I'm a pretty competitive guy. So thinking back on my days here on this court always brings a smile to my face. I remember in high school when Jeff Beans would come over to work on homework, and we would sit in my parents' living room and watch game after game of ourselves, and we had recorded from the night before just because we loved watching ourselves out here. But when I think about my 4 years with Coach Lindsay, so many different thoughts and memories race into my head. One memory of Coach, though, that will always stick with me is something that I'm sure not many of you know or would expect from our well-known, well-dressed, clean-cut leader. But like Austin said, Coach Lindsay can flat out dance. Now, it may take a very special occasion or the right crowd to bring it out of him, but when that man starts to groove, there's no stopping. So one day during school, Jeff and I are sitting in class next to each other, in the back of the class, obviously. And we're sitting right next to the door, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Coach Lindsay walk by our door, and he stops. And on our doors here, there's a little window that you can see through on the door. And so I bump Jeff, and I get him to look out the window, just expecting Coach to give us a classic John Lindsay head nod or a simple wave. But, oh no, people, John Lindsay in the middle of the hallway during school hours broke it down. Jeff and I lost it, started dying immediately, obviously disrupting the class. And when we finally regained our composure, we both looked out the window expecting to see Coach laughing back at us, and he was gone. He had vanished. We couldn't believe it. That's without a doubt one of my favorite memories of Coach, simply because he showed us a side of him that not many people got to see. But all jokes aside, Coach, your leadership and dedication to me as a player and as a person was absolutely vital to my development as a man. You have the rare ability to take a group of immature, unfocused boys and turn them into devoted young men before they walk out of these doors. You push us and made us fight for each other, while teaching me valuable life lessons along the way. Leadership skills you taught me allowed me to push my teammates and myself at the collegiate level. And without your examples of hard work, compassion, dedication, and sense of pride, I would not be the athlete or the leader I am today. So for that, I want to say thank you, congratulations. No coach, no serve who you are. All right, we've got a string of back-to-back-to-back Division I athletes. We're going to continue on that trend. Coach Lindsay coached another formidable Beans family member who was a great basketball player here at Ottawa Hills, and then went on to play Division I at Furman.
University in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, which is where he lives today. I believe he's one of the all-time leading three-point scorers in Division I Furman basketball history. And we're lucky to have him here today to speak to us a little bit about Coach Lindsay, class of 2014, Jeff.
Congratulations. This is an unbelievable act to get out here, just like Phil said. It's so deserving for what you've accomplished, and every single person out here is positively impacted. And I know you're such a humble guy that one way or another, this is completely deserved. You are the face of Ottawa Hills basketball. I remember growing up when I was a little kid, and my favorite week of the school year may have been coming to this gym and playing basketball camp under the John Lindsay. I looked up to you as a leader. Even when I played under you, you were a dear friend to me and my family. I know everyone else who played under you would also agree with that. You positively impacted everyone's lives, and this is so deserving of everything you've accomplished. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, we have a more recent graduate, in class of 2017, and an individual who could have played Division I basketball, but instead decided to take his talents to Princeton University, which is a pretty good school, where he's focusing on academics. But a great player, great young man, standout scholar, athlete, now at Princeton University, I believe a sophomore at Princeton University, Hunter C.
So it would be extremely easy to talk about the robustness of Coach's accolades and achievements. Over 340 career wins, countless conference championships, only some of his hobby of cutting down nets. But having played for Coach, I want to talk about what happened behind the scenes. In addition to developing great athletes, he was cultivating great people, great friends, great teammates, and great leaders. The value systems that were expected of us on the court laid foundations we were able to build on top of for the rest of our lives. And I think that's why he's had such profound impacts on each and every one of us. So, congratulations for this honor. It was well deserved, and it was a long time coming. And thank you for exemplifying the old proverb that the smoothest of dance moves often come from the most modest sources.
Another Division I athlete. Actually, not Division I, but he could have played Division I athlete. But maybe I'll let him tell the story. Elliot, where's Elliot? Do James first? Okay, got it. All right, we'll do James first. All right, got it. All right, a current player. Junior here, great young man. Actually, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. He introduced me yesterday when I had the good fortune to speak to the juniors and seniors at Ottawa Hills. Did a fantastic job. A junior here at Ottawa Hills, senior. My bad, he's a senior. I didn't know where you're going to go to college. All right. And a great basketball player, 13 points a game-ish, right? 14 points a game. All right, having a great season. James Sullivan.
I'll just start by saying I'm not D1, I'm not going to Princeton. So these guys are all going to know that. Thanks a lot. I just want to say, on a more serious note, I could not agree with these guys anymore. Coach's demeanor, the way he coaches practice and games every day has not changed. But what also hasn't changed is his dancing skills. I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but I gotta do it. So, for those who don't know, after a big win, Coach likes to come in the locker room, do a little dance. And so some of those big wins after TC freshman year, that's probably the most memorable. They'll pull out the robot. And so, I know not many of you guys get a chance to see this. So a couple of my classmates and I were messing around in class and we found a video of Coach Lindsay dancing in 2006. So this video is a music video created by the teachers in Madame Hanlon. And I think it's a response to a video that current students made. So I was with that, I guess. Sorry, Coach.
Polo, I bling in my polo, bling in my polo.
Your polo has nothing on me. Yes, in my sweater vest. 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 I love my sweater vest. I live in my sweater vest. My colleagues and I, we all love our sweater vest. Judge art in my sweater vest. Look smart in my sweater vest. At the store, I push my cart in my sweater vest. Make cookies in my sweater vest. No rookie in my sweater vest. I like to read bookies in my sweater vest. I'm cool in my sweater vest. No fool in my sweater vest. I love to go to school in my sweater vest. Look at me in my sweater vest. I'm free in my sweater vest. Count it, that's right, I sunk a 3 in my sweater vest. I'm fine in my sweater vest. All the time in my sweater vest. Not too hot in my sweater vest. Teach a lot in my sweater vest. I even tied the knot in my sweater vest. Whoever teaches you best, I know they got a sweater vest. Lindsay, Winfrey, Kincaid, Hunya, Singler, Hood, and Mendez.
Sorry, Coach, sorry.
This juncture, I'd like to announce that James Silk has been suspended for 1 game. Thank you, James. Another fantastic athlete and another state champion here at Ottawa Hills. Actually, I was fortunate. I got to say, one of the proudest moments of my life was when I got to see Coach and the team play at Shotstein Center, the state semifinals in front of 8,000 people. Just watching them come out of the tunnel, was just a remarkable experience for me. That tunnel was led by an individual who was a tremendous athlete here, was an all-state soccer player, went on to play soccer at Elon University in North Carolina, won the state championship, was an excellent basketball player as well. The floor general of the team that went to the state semifinals, LA Arsenal.
What an awesome atmosphere, and there's so many common threads about the coach that I can say echo what a lot of these guys have already said today. But when I started thinking about my time with Coach Lindsay and then trying to zoom out 9 years later and how it's kind of helped impact my life and what kind of influence he's had on me, first and foremost, I started to think about Coach Lindsay's approach to everything. What I mean by that is his approach to practice, and his approach to games, his approach to walkthroughs, his approach to film sessions, everything. With Coach Lindsay, he has a definitive plan, a definitive purpose, and a goal of what that session, what you're trying to achieve. And to give you an example, when I was a freshman, I was playing for Coach and didn't have the best of attitudes, I'll say. I was kind of a punk freshman. And I went into his office because I was going to be late to practice that day. Either I had to take an exam after school or I had gotten written up. Probably I got written up. But anyway, I went to Coach and I said, hey, I'm going to be late to practice today. And in my head, I remember thinking that, well, on Friday we play Emmanuel at home, Emmanuel Baptist. And for those of you who don't know, Emmanuel Baptist, we should beat Emmanuel Baptist. And so I remember thinking, it's no big deal, it's just for an Emmanuel Baptist game, right? It's going to be a few minutes late. And when the coach told him, the coach was not happy. And coach pulled out the practice plan for that day and showed me, and he's like, Ellie, you're a critical part of this practice. Look at it. And I started looking at the practice session, and it said things like from 2:48 to 3:02, we were going to be doing the Sweet 16 drill, and then get water for 2 minutes, and then 3:04 to 3:16, we were going to start the next drill. I remember thinking as a freshman, this guy's crazy. Oh my gosh, we're playing a manual on Friday, right? So, in any event, it took me a couple of years to really buy into Coach's approach and his diligence and commitment to practice and to an everyday approach in everything. And I think, ultimately that's what has helped influence me 9 years later is taking a definitive plan to certain things, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, health in my life. And so that it helps to really buy into that. And when I think about now Coach with this court being named to him and the whole dedication, I think, Coach's character cannot ever be questioned, his integrity, but I think what ultimately has made him so successful, Coach Lindsay, is really the ingredients and the DNA of all of Coach's success. It lies in his routine and his approach to practice. It lies in his approach to games and preparation. And moreover, on top of all that, it's his willingness and his preparation to help us become better young men. And ultimately, that's what I'm so grateful for my time here with Coach Lindsay. And I've got a million other stories I could say. I spent a ton of time with Coach over my time here. And inherently, when anyone spends, I was trying to calculate the hours, how much time I spent with Coach my time here, and it was thousands. So when you spend thousands of hours with any adult, inherently you're going to have some sort of effect or impact on your life, and without question, I can tell you all that the impact that Coach has had on my life as a man in society has been tremendous. So with that, thank you, Coach, and congratulations on the weekend.
Elliot. Now we're going to a couple more folks, and we're going to do the unveiling of the naming of the court. Coach, if you don't know, has 6 other siblings. Many of them, and not all of them, are here today. One of them is older brother Jim Lindsay. I want to welcome Jim to say a few words about his younger brother. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Pete. First, I want to mention that I went to law school at the University of Toledo, and there's a person here today, your father, Michael Keynes. It's nice to see him. He was the single biggest factor for me. He was the most important law professor that I had in law school, and did my 3rd year thesis with him, and just nice to see him. I just want to give a quick to you, I've learned recently, I've just met you tonight or today, and I learned recently the work you've been doing with philanthropy and social justice. And I have to tell you that it's pretty impressive. And on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you for the innovation, the creative thinking that goes into all this, because you're trying to make a difference, and I hope that you continue to help transform our society. And so on behalf of the future generations, thank you. And more than you, on behalf of my siblings, I want to thank the Board of Education for bestowing such a great honor on my brother today. And I know he has always talked about how fortunate he was to be a part of the Ottawa Village community. Johnny, on behalf of your siblings, wow. This is such an incredible honor. dedication and commitment for your coaching and mentoring of students, student athletes. But I also say wow for a different reason. Really? I schooled you in the basement with a rolled up sock, 2 garbage cans, and later in the backyard you get a coordinating bag. For those of you that knew my dad, you knew his love for the game of basketball, and specifically high school basketball. And he would have been very proud of his son, Coach Lindsay, today. And he was proud of many things as a great father, a great husband, great mentor, teacher. And for those of you that I think you already mentioned, that John is the youngest of 7. And I was right above John, so I'm number 6. We probably look the most alike of my other siblings. And so through the years, I've had various people come up to me and think that I'm John. So I've been in the mall, I've been at concerts, and they'll come up and say, hey coach, great game, or great season, different things, or introduce me, honey, this is Coach Lindsay. Maybe not as much lately, I guess, I'm getting older and maybe looking older to you, but what I would always tell John was that one of these days, I'm going to come back with something inappropriate to embarrass you. I never did. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It's just, I think it was just our upbringing. We just couldn't bring ourselves to be inappropriate or something. I also want to say that, John, over the last 25 years, I've run into various people, parents, students, parents and student athletes, parents of other competitors, athletes, as well as some of the basketball officials. And the common words or things that I've heard has been first class, gentleman, favorite, and you just have to understand what a good feeling it is as a brother that really truly warms your soul. So thank you. Finally, I would like to take some credit for his knowledge of basketball, as that was my love as a teen and a young man. Coaching and mentoring young students, student athletes, is a special gift that John possesses. John has always been a man of principles and discipline, and we're all a family, all very proud of him. We love you, John.
Another family member, the young man who is the manager of the team, the 95-96 team that I played on, always had a nice sweater and tie on, always came prepared, just like his father. Now, I believe also was a student of my father at law school, is a lawyer himself, John Lindsay Jr.
Good afternoon. I am John Lindsay Jr., the oldest of Coach Lindsay's 4 children. As the only one of my siblings to not attend or graduate from Ottawa, I am the least qualified to speak today. I did marry into the Green Bear family, Sarah Wilkinson, class of 2002. Now, despite not attending Ottawa Hills, I felt like I was inducted into the school community. As Pete mentioned, Kyle and I served several seasons as managers for the basketball team. At least that's what we called it once we were old enough to find all boys to be entitled beneath us. Shannon and Kelsey were also enlisted into Green Bear service as statisticians, videographers, hydration specialists, and other euphemisms. While spending so much time around the program in our formative years, saved our parents a small fortune in childcare expenses. The most significant, lasting benefit was learning from Dad's example. Of course, everyone learns from their parents' example. But we were uniquely fortunate to routinely witness Dad in this professional role. On the court, on the bus, in the locker room, we learned about leadership and how to lead with class and character. The keystones of Dad's leadership that we heard today are respect and discipline, respect for opponents, officials, and oneself. But he especially demanded respect for teammates and the interdependent commitment, the binding obligation to each other. As for discipline, I don't think any current or former players would dispute that is foremost among the lessons that it imparts. Not a rigid approach to following orders, but an emphasis on self-discipline and personal accountability. Conduct yourself with integrity. Demonstrate composure, restraint, and resilience. Especially in some of the less successful seasons or games, you continue to work hard, push yourself, prepare for every game, summon the intestinal fortitude to get on the floor for a loose ball, finish strong. But above all, as has been mentioned, Dad leads with humility. He's never been self-congratulatory, and today is probably getting him an ulcer. But it was not that he minimized success. Rather, he always emphasized the valuable contributions of player leaders and coaches. He showed us how important those relationships are with the people you lead. He's continued so many of those relationships as evidenced today. Armed with these lessons, we each apply them to our own circumstances. Kyle, most notably, who leads his own college basketball program. Certainly, I've depended on these pillars throughout my 14 years as an Army officer. It's been such a blessing that our family strengthened our bonds around Ottawa girls basketball. Not just the six of us, but the grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, in-laws, and now grandchildren who get to see Bumpa play on Fridays. Events in this gym, on this court, have brought ours and many other families together. On behalf of the family, we're so thankful for the meaningful friendships and the kindness of players, students, faculty, staff, administration, and families of the school and community. We are so proud of what Dad has accomplished as a coach, teacher, husband, and father. And we're truly grateful that his service is being honored in this way. Thank you so much.
I did neglect to mention, maybe we should give John Jr. another round of applause for his service to our country. And a major in the Army is quite an accomplishment. Thank you for your service to him. Next individual, two more folks to speak, is arguably the best point guard in the history of the University of Toledo basketball program. I watched him when I was younger. I was coached by him when I was younger. I think his temper was a little bit more aggressive when he was younger because I vividly remember him throwing a ball at me in a JCC basketball game. But I think he's calmed down a little bit. He's learned from coach. But one of the all-time greats in University of Toledo basketball history went on to have a very successful career as a faculty member and administrator in the public schools here in the Toledo area, Tim Reiser.
Pete, I think that was probably very good. I told Coach Speece we're going to have to somehow push Coach Lindsay to get some more dance moves going here. Try to work with that. Pretty ironic, I met with Mr. Silverman, Coach Lindsay, about 7 or 8 years ago, and tried to talk to them about the chance of getting back into coaching. And I was planning on doing it for about a year or so, and now 7 or 8 years later, here I am. And it's been a tremendous honor to coach here. Worked with some outstanding young men, as you have witnessed today. These guys are a tremendous group. I've appreciated everything that they have given to the program. I have the honor to make a few remarks on behalf of the former and current coaches that have been part of the basketball staff. Coaches are all pretty good. Caring, organized, attention to detail, intensity, practice plans, humor, time commitment, a winner, league champs, our guys right now, TCOYB, state tourney, and love his players are some of the remarks I received when talking about Coach Lindsay. I've had season in my life since 5th grade. And if you add that up, I don't know how many years that is, but it's quite a bit. And I also coach this is my 32nd year coaching. I've been around numerous basketball people and coaches. And the one thing I heard a while back, the difference between winning and losing is in the details. Coach Lindsay takes care of the details and absolutely deserves this honor, and I appreciate your friendship, Coach. Thank you.
Last in the speakers list, but certainly not least, certainly one of the most important figures, not only in Ottawa's athletics over the last 4 decades, but one of the most important individuals probably in the history of this community for his commitment to our students, to our players. He's coached pretty much everything, you name it, he's coached it. He's one of the winningest baseball coaches in Ohio history, I believe. He's also coached football, he's also coached basketball, and he's just above all a great human being, and I'm thrilled to give him the honors to honor Coach Lindsay last, Coach Chris Hartman.
I know you'll get thanked many times, as you should, but Pete, to you and Amy, thank you for being the catalyst to make today and future plans happen. This entire community is greatly appreciative of you and Amy. We thank you. Jim, I'm glad you talked about family. My first exposure to the Lindsay family happened in 1974, just out of grad school, about to start at Ottawa High School, and I had the privilege of playing softball on a great team. I certainly didn't contribute to the greatness for your father, Robert F. Lindsay. For those of you who can remember, we were so well taken care of. We had the greatest uniforms. We had the Oakland A uniforms, and I'm sure you guys remember. And I would say this, we loved it when your sisters would come to the game. I don't know if any of them are here today, but however, we had a bat boy who showed up occasionally, and you call him Johnny. I think that's probably what we did. But guys, if you can believe this, at 9 he was showing up to be bat boy for the games in a white collar shirt. Shoes were shined. And that was my first exposure to Coach Lindsay. Hillary, thank you for getting out of bed and getting here today, and congratulations to you and your family. As it's been said before, this was very difficult for him. John, just shut up. Okay, why are they doing this? Because there's people that love you and give them an opportunity to share that. And guys, you've been awesome today with your remarks about Coach. One thing, Ellie, I want to share with you, because it speaks to, I think, the success of Coach. And you said what I would say about practice planning, but you got to give somebody a hug today, somebody who loves you very much and has great respect for you, and that's one of the finest coaches in Northwest Ohio. And that's Coach Dave Leah from Emmanuel Christian. Coach Vernier, you know how much respect John Lindsay and Ottawa's basketball and Chris Hartman has for you. And I think Elliot said that out of respect, but he will make sure he gets your word. But you spoke exactly as Coach Renzi did to the strength of John Lindsay, and that is his attention to detail. And we won in practice, and that's so critical because he was unflappable in games for the most part because you were prepared. And so I'm glad some of you captured that because that's my opportunity to coach with him. That's what I saw, and I found it frustrating at times because we're doing the same thing over and over, and yet I recognize the genius and that all of it is the success to the championships. I would tell this, and John and I talked about this often. One of my great thrills in coaching happened with him in basketball, and I know we had JJ, we got Elliot, I saw Andrew, and Bobby was in 2010 standing on the floor of the shop, getting ready to play in the state Final Four. And I know John and I looked at one another, and I was pinching myself for this is pretty neat. And it happened because his dedication and his preparation and obviously having some wonderfully talented athletes. So I know you didn't want this, but you deserve this. And you'll look back on today and you'll think of all these guys and not only what they meant to you, but how much you have meant to each one of them and to this community. And it gives all of us a chance to say thank you. And then what I hope you can do as you enjoy this day is enjoy the game that's about to be played. The alumni basketball team, I look down this roster and it's pretty darn incredible, but I have a concern. We have one ball. And we got some guys here that can shoot, and what really alerted me to this challenge is if you go back and look at all your great defensive players, Bobby Brunner is probably near the top 50. Here's his nickname for today. The butler serving up the trays. I'm thinking of a rare little defense play. Anyway, I know it's your time, and I've been very proud to be your friend and to have the opportunity to coach with you. And again, on behalf of everybody here at Couch, thank you so much.
My goodness. I love this community so much. I love this school so much. My heart is full. My heart is full. Thank you so much. I want to thank you, Pete. Thank you, gentlemen, for the interesting stories. I'd like to have the opportunity to dispel some of that. I know we want to get to that ball game, so thank you for the kind words. I'd like to start by first and foremost thanking Pete and Amy Davis. For as long as I've known Pete, he's been a giver. He's been a giver as a class president, as a team captain, as an entrepreneur, as a philanthropist, as a friend. It has always been, what can I do for you? Being a giver is a part of Pete's core value. He has a genuine compassion for others and a concern for the world around him. Pete Cadence is the hardest working human I have ever met. What an incredibly generous donation Pete and Amy have made to Ottawa Hill Schools. I firmly believe your generosity will propel alumni and Ottawa Hill supporters to
follow your commitment in making an impactful difference in the lives of Ottawa Hills students. I want to thank Pete and Amy Cadence from the Ottawa Hills Board of Education. I am so humbled by this incredible honor. Thank you. So many others I want to make sure that I thank our administration, Dr. Kevin Miller, Ben McMurray, and Tammy Talmadge for their unwavering support. Thank you. Erica Silk and the Ottawa Hills Foundation. I want to thank our former athletic director, my friend Tim Erickson, for all the support and encouragement over the years. Thank you, Tim. I want to thank our faculty and staff. I'm surrounded by excellence all day long. It's pretty cool. Our student managers, our spirited cheerleaders, our student body. Our students are so and multi-talented. They not only excel in academics, but in arts, music, theater, voice, and athletics. The opportunities at this school are unparalleled. I want to thank my family. I have so much pride just looking. Thank you. If I could ask you to stand, there's a few of you here. Thank you. I come from a family of 7, and my wife comes from a family of 8. We are so blessed to have such a supportive, loving, and faith-filled family. Thank you. My children, I know my son Kyle has a game actually right now at Adrian College, so he couldn't be here. But my son John Jr., Shannon, and Kelsey, you could stand. John alluded to some of the memories, but certainly I have those same memories of taking the kids and scouting trips and having them do a shot chart with crayons. But they did the videotaping, they did the stats, cheering, played, and even coached. Thank you. My lovely wife, Hillary, please. She's always been so generous in helping me with game preparation, patient with time commitments, understanding, and fiercely loyal, always. We've been married for 36 years. I fall in love with you more each day. Well, I certainly have been blessed with many assistant coaches that I've learned a great deal from. I've continued to have that privilege of coaching with outstanding assistants, coaches who have passion, work hard to improve our students' basic skills and understanding of the game. They have stood as positive role models to do their best and cultivate mental toughness and build character. Thank you to all my assistant coaches. I did promise that I would keep it brief. It's hard not to, after listening to some of the memories from the athletes, not to have it all come rushing back and run through your head. And certainly there are some that stand out. One of the first memories that jumps in is the trip for regionals to Bowling Green. It was one of the last games in Anderson Arena. And the bus with the the team got off at the exit BG. And as you got off the exit, there was a line of parents. It was incredible. Just standing at the exit. It was pretty special. And I know Jet Silverman had a lot to do with it. The kids didn't know that game was against Colida for the opportunity to go to the Final Four. For 14 years prior, we had played Colida. And we played at Finley High School. When we walked into the gym, and I'll never forget the feeling. When we walked into the gym, just get to the locker room and change, the gym had already been filled and packed with Colida. It was a little intimidating. And I think our players felt it. So it certainly was in my mind 14 years later when we're going to regionals to play Colida again. Thinking, oh boy, I gotta say something, I have to prepare these guys, just thinking aware that this could be a possibility. And it was the opposite. We walked into that gym and it was all out of the world. Then McMurray on the trip had the entire student body line the halls of the school just to walk through. As you remember, the walkthrough pretty special. I've had some amazing managers. If any of my student managers are here, please stand. Henry, Cole, and Ren, such great memories. You guys were so awesome. Such an incredible job. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, all the tournament runs are special. We have great memories. Coaching with my son was another memory. I could go from Pete's game-winning shots, a couple of games. Big shots by Brett Haventraub and the guys that are here just to go all the way through. So it's some really fun groups. Ryan was watching this group of kids love the game of basketball. And anytime they could watch a game together, it was a joy to see that. And that's one of my favorite things. I love having players that play with joy. You can tell. And a lot of these guys were those players. Just so thankful. There's so many unique personalities and experiences that make coaching just simply fun. It's remarkable to see so many former players. I've been so fortunate over the years to have athletes who are coachable, talented, intelligent, and tough. You can't imagine that the foundation of this sport was built on your relentless efforts and sacrifices. Thank you so much for the memories. I don't know that Coach is here, but I certainly feel compelled to mention the name Jim Trabacki. But he was pretty influential in my life. He ignited a competitive fire in me. He taught me how to see the game, how to prepare, the strategy involved. So I was grateful for his example. I love the game of basketball, the fundamentals of the game, the continuous adjustments that need to be made. The learning, something new, fascinates me about the game. Over the years, I've made it a point to learn from the best.
fortunate to have Coach Hardman on my staff when I came in. But earlier times, I sought out coaches that I respected. Paul Wayne was certainly one of them. Doug Williams was another. Fortunate to have Coach Bobby Nichols as my godfather. And he's so kind and gracious to me, with me, give me materials to read through to help. So grateful to have had him in my life and his help. 25 years ago, at a summer camp, I asked Coach Rice if I could take him to lunch and just learn a little more about the game and someone that I respect. So I apologize if I obviously missed. I've had so many assistant coaches, some who are coaching other places. But I'm so proud that I had the opportunity to be together. I value integrity for sure, and I'm thankful for it. Role models. I'm thankful for the role models of integrity in my life, especially my mom and dad. And a lot of my role models are sitting right there. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to live, teach, and coach in the village of Ottawa Hills. I'm a Green Bear through and through, baby. I waited 4 years as a teacher before I stepped on that arrowhead out there. Pete, I am truly blessed to have you in my life. Thank you for your friendship, your kindness, and generosity. Thank you. Incredibly humble, incredibly true.
Heads and tails, which is a fun thing. If you don't have one of these green wristbands, make sure to get one. It's $20. It's a fun game. And you can win 4 tickets to a weekend game at Wrigley Field, as well as a one-night stay at five-star hotel, the Hotel Zachary, right next to Wrigley Field. So make sure to participate. It'll be right before the alumni game, probably about 25 minutes. Also, as Dr. Miller mentioned, just remember that none of this is possible. This dedication, future vision of Ottawa Hills, without our resources and without us giving back. And one of the things I say about giving is sometimes it's got to hurt a little bit. I think that it's important that we give back to the institution. out there. We made it clear so we can see all the envelopes going in. And if you can take the time to consider the Admirals Foundation, I do remember that the first time of my knowledge, the school levy failed a couple years ago. As a result, we're not getting the increased revenues from the taxpayers to fund the growth and infrastructure improvements of this school. It's the best school in Ohio. And so we need all of you to contribute to help and make it hurt a little bit so that we keep great teachers and great infrastructure and continue to be the best school system in the state of Ohio. So please do be considerate and give back and fill out your pledge cards if you can. And with that, we will end with the unveiling of the naming of the court coach. And then we'll do have all the players come around back here behind Coach. And Austin and I will unveil it. I don't have the microphone, but I'll talk loudly. So from now on, this court will forever be known as Coach John Lindsay Court. Coach, congratulations.